Hi and welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you some techniques how you can improve your pictures. So let's get right into it. So you already know this picture from the first part, and right above the basic tab right here you can see the brush and the radial filter. And yeah, we're going to click at the radial filter and you can drag it and you can apply a radial filter that way. So what you can do with the radial filter is you can select a part of the image and only edit this part. So I'm going to increase the brightness so that she pops more, and I'm going to increase the contrast a little bit, and you can use the switch right here to turn it on and off and see how you like the look. You can also use clarity to decrease or increase the clarity for that part of the picture. You need to use this slider very carefully, because otherwise you're going to mess the whole picture. So something like this, and you can also play around with the dehaze slider. You will also see you need to use this very carefully to add some glow to the picture, and you can also decrease or increase the saturation, but I don't want to do that. Also the sharpness, noise, moire, and defringing. So you want, if you want to make it a little bit sharper, or you want to give it less sharpness, you can do that, but I will always recommend to zoom in to your picture very closely and to look what you're doing. So right now I can see right here, if I decrease the sharpness to 100%, and yeah, you're going to see what it does to the image. And you can also sharpen the image, but I don't want to do that right now. But in some cases it's very useful. So we're going to click at fit again to see the whole picture. And we're going to hit O on your keyboard to see which part the mask affects. So right here I can see it, and I can also decrease or increase the feather, so to give it a natural look. And if I press O again, I will see the normal picture right here. So, and you can turn on and off again, and you see how it affects the whole picture. So another way you can manipulate your pictures is this mask right here, and you can drag your mask and you can turn it, and if you press O you can see which part of the image you will affect with this mask. I use it most of the time to brighten or darken my edges of my picture to get a nicer look. So for example, with this I can darken or brighten my sky. I will darken it a little bit, drag it down, and drag the whole filter a little bit more out. And the bigger your filter right here is, the softer the transition from the mask will be. So that's also pretty nice. Yeah, another way you can affect your image is with the brush tool. With the brush tool you have a brush right here. By scrolling you can make your brush bigger or smaller. You can also increase the feather and the flow and the density. I always keep the flow and the density at 100, and we're going to change something at the tower. And yeah, you can see I can draw on the tower, and I also hit O to see the mask. If I hit O again, I can see the mask. If you have something like this where it's pretty hard to see the red, you can also decrease or increase the brightness so you can really see which part you're affecting. Only for drawing the mask. You can also use color, of course. You can also decrease to blue, for example, so you can see it better what you're doing. And for finer details you can make the brush a little bit smaller, and you will affect everything you want. So right here and right here. I only do this very rough. You can of course zoom in, and by hitting the space bar you can move the picture around, and you can use the brush very carefully. I would do this also if I would edit the picture right now, but I only show it to you how you can edit your pictures. So you will also affect this part right here. You need to be very careful, but you can also delete something with pressing the Alt key and holding it, and so you can erase the parts you don't want to be colored. So for example, if I painted over her arm right now, and now I can erase simply the part where I drew on her arm. Yeah, you can also zoom in much more to get a very detailed shot, but for this tutorial that's enough. And yeah, this bright part right here, I want to make sure that I got this. So something like this. And yeah, then we hit fit again and we turn it back, and now we can increase the brightness, for example, and increase the contrast, and decrease the saturation or increase the saturation. And you can see that the selection isn't perfect. If I decrease the saturation, you can see right here that the red right here and here isn't affected, but I don't care for this example. So yeah, you can see it, and you can also use the switch again to turn it on and off. And if it's too much for you, you can decrease the brightness to make it look more natural. And yeah, you can see it right here, the before and after. Yeah, you can also use this brush to affect the floor, for example. So you press O again, and you will select all of the floor, and everything which is red will be affected. And yeah, I only do this very rough between the legs, so right up. And on the back right here. So you press O again, and then you can also change the color, for example. So if it's too green, I can increase the magenta, slider the tint. I can change the tint of the picture. I can make it more yellow. You can also make it more yellow, and if it's too much for you, you can decrease the saturation right here. And you can turn it on and off to see the before and after. You need to only concentrate on the floor right now. You can also increase the brightness, for example, or decrease the brightness. And you can also decrease the clarity or increase the clarity. Can make it a little bit brighter. And yeah, you can also increase the contrast, decrease the highlights or increase the highlights, and decrease the shadows to get a more even light on the floor, but I don't want this, so yeah, but you can play around with all the colors. So these are some advanced techniques, and if you want to apply it to another picture, so if you want, for example, you have a second shot which is pretty close to the first one, you can simply tap Command, click on the second picture and click on Sync, and select everything you want to be synchronized. So I click on Synchronize, and that way I get the second shot, and all my settings are applied to this one. But you have to keep in mind that you maybe need to adjust something, especially the brushes won't be pretty precise because it uses the selection from before, but it's not that big of a deal, because you can simply press O and hit the Option key to delete everything you don't want to be selected. So I'm going over her face, and over right here I want to delete this part, and I'm going to do this right here very quickly. And yeah, the same thing for the floor. So you see that I draw over her shoe, and also I go over her legs so that they don't affect it. And yeah, this is not straight the shot, so you can use this tool right here to make it straight, something like this. Or you can also use the transform tool with the lines, so you can use it like this, and you need to find straight lines, which is pretty hard in this picture because there are not really straight lines. Of course I can use these lines, but they are not really straight. But maybe let's give it a try. So you jab it and you drag it, and you try to do this, and you take another line and you try to find the perfect middle, and you're going to drag it like this and hold it, and you can find another line like this from left to right, and you jab it and drag it like this, so you can see right here. But you also can, okay, this hasn't worked right now. You can click on the Auto button and it will do its job. It will align everything, and you can see the before and after. So I would recommend to use the Auto function in this case. It does a pretty good job to align everything, and you have all your settings right here. If you want to create a preset, for example, you can use it with this plus key right here. So on the left side there are your presets, and you can simply tap on plus, create presets, and you can create your presets. You can choose a preset name, use a group, for example. You can make a new group, and you can select everything you want to be included in the preset. I would not recommend to apply brushes to your presets, because every picture is different and the area which you're affecting will always be different. So for that scenario I won't include brushes. Yeah, and that's basically it. These were my tips, and I have a lot more tips to get better results in my online course. You can check it out, it's in the description below. And for more content and more photography and filmmaking content, subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. And yeah, I see you guys in the next video. Bye.